A very good morning to you. Hi, Faten.
Hello. Good
How are you?
morning, good afternoon.
Good
It's just
afternoon.
12. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
well, thanks. And you?
wonderful. Keeping well and happy for the little conversation chit chat we had before this started.
Yes, exactly.
And how have you been before I ask anything? I mean, really, how have you been?
Really. Yeah, as I said, in this chit chat, that I was intentional to slow down in August. So I even made an automatic reply saying I'm slowing down, even before traveling for my 10-day vacation, because I felt for the January to July, I was kind of sprinting, not even running a marathon, but sprinting. So I felt like I was really tired. So right now I am really just above water, because I felt end of July I was kind of drowning, because I was literally, my body was tired. So now I'm just above water and I'm doing well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
A good place to have conversation when you're above the water.
Yes, I can speak, right? My voice can go out. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about positive psychology as we put on the poster. But before we start off, I had asked you earlier, what does leadership mean to you? And you mentioned this, who you are
Mhm.
is how you lead and who you are is how you coach. I'd like
Yes.
you to unpack this before we get onto anything else and everything else.
Yes, absolutely. And leadership really is not a title to me. It's a way of being. That's why I said who you are. It's your identity is how you lead. And who you are is how you coach. And leadership and coaching to me go hand in hand. So when I say it's who you are, it doesn't become like I'm wearing now a leadership hat and I will step into my leadership role. It's how you lead your life every single day, and from where you lead your life. Are you leading your life from a place of, for example, stepping into positive psychology, which is one of the main pillars in my leadership modality, if you want, is abundance. So am I functioning from a position of abundance, or am I functioning from a position of scarcity? How do I show up to the world? I'm seeing that there's, oh my God, there's lots of competition, or I'm noticing, and I know deep down, like each cell in my body knows that there's abundance for everyone, and there's lots of opportunities for everyone. So that's how it is for me, and that's how I say it's how you who you are is how you lead.
I like what you just now said. In every cell of your body that abundance is there.
Oh
How does
yeah.
how does one detect what is there in every cell of their body? How is it that they program it if it is not the one that is serving them? What is present in every cell of their body?
It's that deep dive inwards, when you keep on having those inner work sessions. I always have my coaching sessions. I have coaching supervision. I have my mentoring sessions. I'm learning different modalities, and thus I also have sessions in those modalities. So I keep on going, that always deep diving and knowing more about me, and that's how we can know what's in my body, right? When I look inwards versus I look outwards. So that's how I learned about abundance. And thankfully I realized that I've been raised with that abundance mindset from my mom. So when I was a little girl, she always used to say, please God, like how to say it in English, please God, like God give everything to everyone, so that they can give, so that he can give us, you know and I once asked her, like, Mommy, why do you pray, like, why do you pray for everyone so that he gives us? And she said, because that's how it is. And apparently she was practicing positive psychology without even knowing that this is something in like one of the main pillars in positive psychology. So that abundance mindset is something that I really know. And thankfully I've been raised by. Yeah.
But You know what caught my attention? You said from your mother. So, what was your
Mm.
father's perspective?
My father's perspective is humbleness and modesty and generosity. I
Mm.
always say I lost my dad 25 years ago. He was only a 54 years old man, and I always write about this, that these two things I learned from him: modesty and generosity. He, until today, like I told you, I'm going to Lebanon on Friday, and 25 years later, each time when I go to Lebanon and like some random stranger comes and says like, who's your dad? And I say who my dad is, they say very good words about him. So he was such a generous man in giving everything to like really helping others around. And modesty, I remember my mom used to like push him to go and buy clothes. And he would say, like, my clothes are good. Why do I have to buy clothes? If people want to respect me for my clothes, then I don't want these people in my life. So he was caring to really be you're making me emotional to be that, a generous man and humble man. Yeah.
Uh, One more question around your father that I want to ask. Is it okay?
Please. And I'll tell you, yeah, go ahead.
Uh, I feel the people in our lives, even when they pass away physically, they're present in our lives uh,
Every
in
day.
many ways, right? In every day, they're there in our life present, not just in conversations where people are telling us or uh, how has his absence played a role in being present in your life since he passed away
Yeah.
in your journey?
Yeah. So he I again, through the inner work, Samir, I want to be really honest, as always. Through the inner work, I realized that I wanted to tell my dad, because it was my first year of university when I lost him. So he didn't see any of me, if you want. Um, he had very high hopes for me. He wanted me to be a doctor. And I went into pharmaceuticals. I graduated with bachelor's, two actually double majoring, bachelor's in pharmacy and bachelor's in chemistry. And when I was reflecting through the inner work that I was doing through the years, I realized that part of me double majoring at the same time in two different universities in Lebanon, having some days exams on the same day, different timing. I have to drive and come to the second campus and do my that's what I his absence gave me the the urge to prove that I'm their dad and I'm here to make you proud. And when I started my own coaching business, Samir, I was sitting on the beach in Dubai, you know, and I was having a conversation with my dad because I missed him so much, and he built himself from scratch. He left Lebanon, a 19-year-old young gentleman, to go to Saudi, and he built his life from literally scratch. He comes from a very, very poor family, and he made wealth, um, by doing what he does, and then opening a water like desalination company. And he used to charge only corporates. So whoever who came to buy just gallons of water for home use, he would never charge. So I was sitting and having a conversation, a virtual conversation with him, and I was telling him how much I miss him. And I was like, being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing, you know. And I was asking him, like, how did you do that? Like, how did you come with the idea to have this company, And he grew it really big. How did you do that? Like, how did you have that? He didn't graduate from university. So how did you do that? And the message he told me while was having this conversation with him, he said, keep hustling, keep doing, and you will get there. keep doing what you're doing and you will get there. And I had tears, and now I'm having tears. So, so yeah, I felt like I really missed him even more, because I have these conversations that I would love to have. Um, yeah, it's lonely as an entrepreneur. And I always talk about loneliness and leadership, and now people are seeing that.
Yeah, I
So
see
yeah,
you're a combination of your mom and dad. You bring
absolutely.
humbleness,
Absolutely.
generosity, the hustle, the abundance,
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
You bring all of that together. I think that is the beauty of entrepreneurship, also, right? That is the beauty of what entrepreneurs
Beauty of
need:
authenticity in
authenticity.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Because you need to, again, walk the walk and talk the talk, right?
yeah. And especially in your early days when you're struggling for the business and you're looking at the market, you have to practice so much of patience, you have to practice so much of humility. You have to understand that if someone is not buying from you, then there is something that you're not giving them yet. So you
And
start
abundance.
an abundance. Yeah,
And abundance, because that's what as you know, we both were in Qatar at a certain period of our lives, right? And when I moved to Dubai, everyone was like, Dubai is saturated, there's lots of coaches there, how would your business survive, like, there's lots of competition. That word competition, and I always say, really, there is a lot for everyone. And as I said in my TEDx talk, and that came through the reflections, because at that time I was thinking of the move to Dubai, that I'm not for everyone and not everyone is for me. So I told myself, maybe there's someone who is waiting for that woman like Faten to come to Dubai to do business with her. And that's abundance, because there's a lot for everyone. Why do I fear competition if there's a lot in this world, like a lot? And we are really, in for those who've attended my workshops, I always end it with gratitude, and I always end it with a quote, that says, we are a very, very small part, like maybe 500 million or 600 million people of the 9 billion people in this world that can come closer to their goals. So I ask people to let that sink in, let that abundance, fill your heart, because when abundance appears, fear disappears. And that's what's really important in being my own, you know, um boss, or having my own business. I need to let fear out of the door and let abundance come in.
so the definition of courage is not the absence of fear but doing things despite the fear, right?
Yes.
So is it
Feeling the fear and doing it anyway, right?
right? No, so it's not about keeping the fear at the door, but letting the courage to walk in through that door, right?
Mhm. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So having that fear and doing it anyway is the courage.
Yeah,
Because at any moment I can decide to handle that fear from position of pain and, like, say, protecting myself because it's ouch, or handle it from a position of power and say, yes, that's painful, and I've got this, and I will learn something new in this new venture, for example.
before we started the conversation, you were saying there was a story you wanted to share on how positive psychology came into your life.
Yes, you were
Would love
so
to hear it.
yes, absolutely. So we were talking about Rumi, and the quote that's very famous for him, which is, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that's exactly what happened with me in positive psychology. So I have a very beautiful relationship with God, and I always say that God created my life as haute couture. Haute couture is the French fashion word, which is, the you they curate the dress for per the millimeter. You know, it's so high end fashion, and it's so curated beautifully. And I always say that God curated my life to the millimeter correct. And I have this gratitude filling my life. Again, coming from this is from my dad. We were not allowed to say, if someone asked, "How are you?" say good. I'm not allowed to say I'm good. I would say, Alhamdulillah, saying thank God. So, anyways, so I have this gratitude and thankfulness a lot, and for a certain period in my life, I was debating happiness because I felt I'm a hypocrite with God. I'm telling him thank you for giving me everything and curating my life to the millimeter, yet I wasn't happy. So I started asking. I started asking literally everyone, from religion to philosophy to any person who I can have a conversation with, and ask them this question: how can a person be very grateful yet not happy? And I never had the answer. Like I've listened, but it didn't, go in. It didn't sink in. So I was in the States doing a 1 week management leadership institute, 1 week course, and I was the only person flying from the Middle East, from GCC to the States, and we were a group of 60 people. So each day they would teach us something, a day on procurement, marketing, finance. So anyways, on Wednesday afternoon, they left it open, and the block was called self-development. So they got us a lady. She wasn't a coach, but she was into HR, and she was talking this language that now I talk. And I didn't have the courage, talking about courage, I didn't have the courage to raise my hand and go and say, I have a question. During the break, I went to her and I said, I have a question. She said, please. I said, how can a person be this grateful yet not happy? And that was the first time I acknowledge and admit that this is me. First, I was always asking, just like they say, asking for a friend. I was just asking in general. It wasn't, and she started talking, and I told her, by the way, this person is me. I'm a very grateful person yet not happy. And again, she started saying, look at the joy, it didn't satisfy me. And apparently all this time I wasn't ready, until I was in Doha waiting for my car, and I was attending an event, and I was waiting for the valet to bring my car back. And I opened my phone and I get a notification on edX, which is like Udemy, or LinkedIn Learning. It says The Science of Happiness by two years UC Berkeley professors. And I was like, wow, I am a science person and I'm looking after happiness. So I automatically brought this course. And there I learned about positive psychology. I didn't know positive psychology existed. And there I understood the science of happiness. And I was looking at it from one angle only, and that's why I wasn't happy. And it's a full, well-rounded, framework to look at happiness, which I automatically signed to get my master's, like a year after I started my master's journey, in positive psychology and coaching psychology. Yeah, that's my
So
story
what?
on positive psychology.
So what's the answer to that question now for you?
It's a mix of the PERMA well-being model, or the PERMA model for happiness. So it's P stands for positive emotions. If I want to be happy, I need to look at what increases my positive states. So if gym it's for me, that's what, or exercise, and I'm not doing this, then I cannot complain that I'm not happy, because this would feed into happiness. Second is engagement, which is being in a state of flow. When you're so fully engaged that you lose track of time. So search for that, and whatever that is, do more of it, and that would make feed into happiness. The R stands for relationships, and that was one of the game changers for me. The relationships is something I really took seriously, and I've did lots of cleaning of relationships so that I can work on my happiness, because I was surrounded by maybe toxic relationships. So, and that was, it didn't surprise me that relationships is a really important thing, because I know now that we are hardwired for connection. I cannot live alone. So imagine if I'm surrounded by toxic relationships. So definitely it will impact my happiness. So that was one of the real game changers. And the second one was the M, which is the meaning, finding the meaning, finding my why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm on this mission to create positive workplaces, why I'm on this mission to let people see the light within, because I really believe that everyone has that light within. So the relationships and meaning are the things that I've really worked on. And the A, PERMA, which is the A, is for achievements. And at that time, I had lots of achievements. I had lots of money, a great salary, benefits, whatever. I was best sales achiever. I worked in sales and pharmaceuticals before stepping out for 3 consecutive years in GCC. So I was like doing really well in achievements, and that was the only part that I had. And that's where I felt I'm a hypocrite, like I'm having everything and I'm not happy. So when I started looking at the positive states, the engagement, relationships, and meaning, specifically 3 lines under relationships and meaning, that was the game changer for me.
So what is your why today?
Why I do what I do: to create positive workplaces through coaching conversations.
And why is that important to you?
Because I see lots and lots of toxicity, lots of burnout, people functioning from that position of fear, from scarcity, from backstabbing and
So these are all
manipulation.
problems. So like this, there are so many problems in the workplace or outside. Why are you choosing to solve this problem?
Because to me, this is something that I really felt that would make the world, for me, that would make the world a better place. Because I've realized through coaching conversations that's nothing more gratifying than people seeing the potential for themselves. And when they see the potential for themselves, they can start seeing that for others. And I know that you're not convinced. So please go ahead, tell me, challenge me on that.
So where my question is coming from is, I feel there is something about your journey which has made you pick up this why for yourself.
Like I was in non-positive workplaces.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. There is something about your personal journey or strengths or value systems that you have, uh, you identify with a lot.
So what I identified with a lot is the coaching conversations, is the unlocking potential, right? And that's why I say, I like my first statement was when I was Faten without BrightFields was, I, yeah, my purpose statement is to allow people to see their light through self-love and faith.
Yeah. I think reflecting on hearing what you're sharing right now, I think the starting
Please.
point for you was asking that question of why is it that I am grateful but not happy. I think that quest, and then unraveling the answer to that, uh, made you realize probably how a conversation can unlock potential. And then you're like,
Through coaching,
yeah,
yes.
through coaching, through deep reflection.
Yes, doing that inner work and self-awareness.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's because of, yeah,
So way of
maybe.
saying it is, I mean, I feel a lot of people really connect with their why when it meets a personal, unmet need of their own.
Absolutely.
There is
Yeah,
an unmet need of their own that was not being met, and then they see how that pain was there translating in their own life, and then they want to solve it for the rest of others,
True.
right?
I fully agree. Yeah.
So it is from that context and lens I'm asking you, why did you choose this to be your why of using coaching? Because a lot of people who go through coaching, but they don't become coaches. A lot of
Yes.
people go through self-awareness, but they don't become the voice for solving problems at the workplace.
Yeah.
So there's something in your journey which has made you say, I'm going to make this my mission statement. I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to give away the high paying jobs and salaries and benefits and comfort and the assurance of having money at the end of the month and go on this particular journey.
Yeah.
So is it your father was an entrepreneur and you wanted to be an entrepreneur as well to continue his legacy, or I don't know, I'm asking.
Uh,
So that's the lens the question is coming from.
yeah. So I think I've had the courage because I've seen my father do it. Yes. My why is coming from that gratifying feeling that people can see that they've got the resources within themselves and they can choose otherwise, whether to stay in this toxic environment or a non-toxic environment. We always have a choice, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very empowering to just realize, and I think to live that truth that we always have a choice is not something a lot of
Always.
people accept as well, no?
Yeah.
I
Oh
have a-
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I have a question from an audience over here, someone who is on LinkedIn, I believe, who's asking. Nadeem is asking, can you share examples of organizations that have successfully integrated positive psychology into their leadership development?
Yeah. Um, one that's a very good question, Nadeem. Thank you for asking. The first thing when it comes to positive psychology and organizations is when they link the purpose to why they're doing what they're doing. So if we look at PERMA and we look at PERMA leadership, for example, and they link the meaning on why people are doing what they're doing with their leadership. The first that comes to my mind right now, and I'm sure if I do some, more like thought now, I can bring more names, is NASA. And I think you've heard that story about, when I think John F. Kennedy was visiting NASA back in the days, and he saw the janitor in one of the hallways, and he says, what do you do in this company? And he said, I help put a man on the moon. And I think that is a very strong story to link, why people are doing what they're doing to their role. So he's not a janitor. He is helping put a man on the moon. And that's so uplifting to see that the janitor, which is, on the lower scale of job titles, let's say, he's knowing why he's doing what he's doing. There are some hospitals, for example, when it comes to oncology, and they have a very tough relationship with their patients because of, like how, like, they vomit. And again, one of the nurses was asked, and she said, to help people live with dignity. So these are stories that are so close to my heart.
I want to link this to something that you have shared earlier as well. I mean, in your write-up also is there, and you talk about humanized leadership.
Hmm.
What does it mean, and why do we even have to talk about it?
Because it's we are all humans. um, because we are all humans, and we all need one thing. Maslow's, hierarchy of needs said it, I think, in the 40s. He said, after we have food on our table, our safety and psychological needs are met, the first thing we need is love and belonging.
Yeah.
And we always need to have that belonging to this tribe or to this community or to this organization. And it's much more important than the self-esteem or the recognition, and then the self-actualization. So the first thing after food and water and, ceiling above our head is to be heard and seen. So that's why it's important to bring this to leadership, because each one of us is not a number. Like I was coaching the other day a gentleman, unfortunately in the healthcare industry, and he was telling me, I'm just a number. And that's ouch. And I know so many organizations that they even talk to each other with their numbers.
Yeah. You think if we map the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for individuals to organizations and map it, they are stuck at the bottom of the pyramid. They are not
Yes,
able to go to the next level,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The safety is not met.
So how is it
Absolutely.
that they
And
can
now
go
they
to the
talk,
next level before they sort this out? They are not able
and
to go to that level.
I love that you brought that, and you said let's map it to an organizations. Very, very powerful. You know, I really believe that psychological safety is a buzzword these days. Everyone's talking about psychological safety. And my question is always, are you really practicing psychologically safe? Like, are creating or cultivating psychologically safe places? Because what I learned from the nervous system point of view from Stephen Porges, he's the one who created the polyvagal theory, and which is about the nervous system and our different states. He says safety is not the absence of threat, it is the presence of connection. And to me that was like, wow, that's absolutely what the organizations are missing. There's no threat in the organization. There's no bombs in the organization. There's no war in the organization. But people, are they really feeling connected to open up and to say, I did a mistake, and to say, I don't like that I'm a number, and to say that this is not ethical and I shouldn't be asked to do it? All of these, by the way, are topics that I get to my sessions.
Yeah. This is when you look at the five dysfunctions of a team by Patrick Lencioni. It
Exactly.
speaks about absence of trust as
Absence of
the most
trust as the foundation.
as a foundation, right? But if you were to continue the conversation about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, mapping it to the organization, then does it mean that the second step should be actually the first? And if we meet the first one, love and connection with each other or belonging to each other, then the numbers will take care of itself in a business.
So we need to take care of safety, which is building that trust for people to connect, and then having that love and belonging. If we really map this to organizations again, you would see that so many times, I've seen it myself, with clients, that they've said no to a promotion,
Mm-hmm.
which is they said no to the recognition, which is just above love and belonging, just because they are afraid to be alone and that their friends, the ones who are connecting with them right now, will lose them. They will lose their friends.
Yeah,
So I think still safety is really important because it's that presence of connection. From that connection, we build trust.
mm-hmm.
People remove their masks and say who they are authentically, and then we can have this love and belonging and yeah.
I have a question here from Javed who says it's a long, so I'll just read it out. You can just, you have spoken about imposter syndrome or hypocrisy, but I find that it sometimes get amplified when I'm surrounded by environments or relationships rooted in fear, burnout, or toxicity. How does one truly let go of that, mentally and emotionally, without carrying its weight into new spaces? What are the practical steps to not just leave the environment, but also release its hold on you?
Beautiful, Javid. Thank you.
A lot around
So,
emotional intelligence, but yes.
yeah, absolutely. So, one of the first things that I talk about when it comes to toxicity environments is that we cannot solve, the problem at the same level that created the problem. We have to look at levels above. Meaning, if I would invite that person, if I would invite Javid to leave that environment, and maybe Javid, I'm not talking about you, but that question. So if I would say, yes, go ahead and leave that environment and go to another environment without looking at the levels above, which are my behaviors. What are my current behaviors that are not supporting right now, not supporting me right now in this current environment? If I don't change that, if I don't learn how to upskill myself, if I didn't learn how to change my beliefs around that environment and then my identity, and I jump to another environment, then it's impossible for me to succeed. Not impossible, but the chances is that I will keep on falling into the same trap over and over again. And I think God is excellent in making us fall into the trap until we learn the lesson.
Hmm.
So before saying, the saying which is the grass is greener on the other side, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where I water it. So let's give an example. In this current environment, I am in a toxic environment, and my boss uh, discriminates. There's favoritism. He favors X over me. Okay. And my current behavior is that I stay quiet, for example, because I have a belief. So I'm going to the levels above. I have a belief that he's my boss, or what can I do? It is what it is. And I stay not speaking up, not asking for my rights, not asking for what is it I want. And I decide one day I cannot take it anymore and go to another organization. Who would guarantee that I wouldn't get an even worse boss if I didn't learn how to speak up, if I didn't learn how to be assertive and asking for what I want, and if I didn't learn how to change my beliefs? Because let's say we are working in a multinational company, and this is a multinational company. It's not his company or his dad's company, you know? So we abide by the same code of ethics.
Yeah.
So I need to change my belief, change my behavior in this current role. And then if things didn't work out, then definitely I'm not a tree and I can move to another organization. But I need to learn these behaviors so that I don't take them with the unlearned, I should learn the new behaviors before going to another organization. If I stayed with the same behavior, I'm taking the same behavior to the other organization, and people might step over me and I'll stay quiet.
Yeah. And it's also reminding me that a lot of people quit their jobs and start a business because they don't want to deal with this kind of triggers that
And
happens in
they
the life.
come, and there's a way from the
Yeah.
universe that it will
To
show
pull you
up.
from
You
that.
have to face it and learn. I
Yeah.
always say, move from why is this happening to me to what is this trying to teach me.
Yeah.
And that's another shift in mindset. you know oh, why is this happening to me? Why I keep on facing this? There is a lesson. Just open my eyes and my heart and maybe seek help, maybe seek coaching, maybe just get curious. What is this trying to teach me? And then there's always something.
When you talk about teaching, I was just thinking uh, the UAE government and the US government and all the governments in the world right now are including AI into their curriculums. They should be including positive psychology into the curriculums right from day one of children when they're growing up. I mean,
Well,
uh,
positive psychology is a lot researched in education.
yeah,
And there are lots of research on the importance of positive psychology in childhood. And
But it could be introduced into schools or curriculums to teach
I wish,
children,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
they have the skill set and the tools and the frameworks to deal with scenarios that comes up in their lives.
yeah. And I think we are on the way.
Yeah, I hope so too.
There's Dubai Future Foundation ahead of us all,
Yeah.
you know,
I was thinking to myself, what could be the answer to your question?
which is,
What you were asking about, why you were feeling grateful but not happy. And
what's my answer? I have it.
no,
I
my
know
answer,
now.
I
Okay.
have
Okay. Yes, let's do that. Let's switch roles.
no, just I'll
What's,
just share with you what my I think it is, and then you can tell me what you think about it, right? So you
please?
gave me perma answer that you found for yourself, and you it allowed you to understand meaningful relationships and
And yeah.
meaning in what you're doing, etc. How I would have answered the question is, gratitude and happiness are two different lenses. Gratitude is about acceptance, happiness is about expectations.
Okay.
When you're not achieving what your mind wants you to, is when you will be unhappy. And if you're accepting of everything, and you don't have expectations out of life, then you're always happy. So it depends on how you framed your expectations.
So gratitude is about acceptance and happiness is about expectations, you said?
I'm just throwing it out there now for you to consider.
Yeah. Um,
You can disagree. You
well,
don't have to.
no. I came to realize, and there's a beautiful book called The Radical Acceptance of Everything.
Hmm.
And I came to realize the importance of acceptance of everything.
Yeah.
Now, is gratitude acceptance? Um, Gratitude is a state of being. I don't know. I'll have to sit with that.
So acceptance is being present in the now, right?
Yes, accepting everything.
Accepting everything, which means when something happens good, you say Alhamdulillah. When something bad happens, you say Alhamdulillah. You say Alhamdulillah for everything, or you're grateful for everything. You say thank you for everything,
But you
right?
need to mean it, right?
Of course, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's when
That's
I
acceptance.
felt
Right?
I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite because I'm not meaning it. I'm saying I'm grateful. I'm seeing that I'm blessed with so many things.
So
But
you're
my
saying,
expectations, you're saying happiness is related to expectations?
so you're unhappy with this acceptance. That's why you're not feeling it,
Yes, maybe. Yes, that's a beautiful way. Yes.
right? You're unhappy accepting this reality.
Unhappy that I'm lying to myself about this reality.
You're not lying about the reality because the reality happened anyway, correct? So unhappy about you're not lying about anything. You're just not accepting, or you're not happy about what you're accepting.
Maybe. I'll have to marinate with that and sit with that. You gave me something to think of. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So you have been working
Unhappy with
across
my acceptance. Yes.
you've been
Yeah.
working across UAE and Qatar, and you've been seeing leadership at uh,
Top level.
top level, national level, etc. Right? Major companies, and also the leadership of the country, and you're seeing how both these countries are leading their nations very in their own unique ways, and there's no right and wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you being a student of leadership, I'm sure you're observing a lot of things. What are you observing about these two countries or cities?
I'm I'm observing that um, true leadership. You want
You-
me? Yeah.
You're trying to be
Okay.
politically correct now. I can see,
Exactly. And I'm not used to that.
but you're
So
not in politics, so you don't have to be.
Yeah, I'm noticing that really keeping people accountable and building a society based on the belief that you've got the potential
Hmm.
and keeping people accountable and having these difficult conversations without the artificial harmony that Patrick Lencioni talks about is what builds Qatar and Dubai and UAE.
Okay. So you're talking about the
So it's
commonality. I'm asking about the difference now.
so let's say maybe Dubai and UAE maybe it's a bit more proactive in this. Or well, it's different strategies.
Hmm.
It's different strategies, but they're both doing amazing.
So the question I'm asking is coming truly from the lens of, there could be two different companies and two different leadership styles, and there's no one way of doing things, right? But I think you can always translate lessons from what you see at the high level to what you can see at the organization level, or even at a level of your homes. Even, you show up
Exactly,
as a leader,
families.
as a
Yeah,
family also.
yeah, yeah.
So there's lessons over there that I'm thinking, what is it that you have observed? If there is any lesson that you would, let's say, for example, say, this is one strategy and this is what they're doing and this is what is working for them, and
Yeah.
this is another strategy, this is what is working for them.
It's keeping people accountable is a game changer in UAE, where every person is considered to be a role model
Hmm.
and has that ownership and responsibility.
Okay. So what I have observed, and just sharing over here what I have seen, is to me what Dubai demonstrates is it wants to be the number one, right?
Hmm.
And it wants to really be world class in everything that they're doing. And I think when we have that hunger, then as an organization, as companies, so I know a company in Dubai who is aspiring to be the world's number one packaging company, and they're like, why can't we be the number one in the world? Why can't a Dubai-based company become the world's number one?
Mm.
Right. So that's just an example of what I was coming
Look,
from.
there's a I can challenge that in one thing, which is you can be the number one, and having that hunger is important. And it's important not to step on the well-being of your people so that
Yeah.
you are the number one. So, and that's the difference between really coaching and positive psychology coaching. Coaching is you take a client from point A to point B. Positive psychology coaching is you take clients from point A to point B, plus you make sure that their well-being is in check as well.
Yes.
So you can
So,
be the number one,
yeah.
and while taking care of your people, I would be, saluting and clapping for every leader in this organization. I don't doubt that. It's just that I would say, please take care of your people.
So moving from politics of nations, I want to move politics of organizations, and I want to ask you this question: how do you help organizations move from command and control kind of leadership to a coaching kind of leadership within
And
organizations? How do you help create this shift within organizations?
and that's what I'm doing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Advocating for having this coaching skills leadership, coaching leadership framework, if you want, versus the traditional leadership of command and control. And the first thing that I believe is really, really important here, and if you want, like, could be my barrier point, is the leadership buy-in in
Hmm.
some organizations. So if the leadership gets the buy-in, because this is something that not every leader has practiced or seen it for themselves on what coaching can do to the organization or to the person, let's say, first, not to the organization. So first we needed that leadership buy-in. And then we start training people and making sure that, again, keeping people accountable, making sure that there's like a framework for this, and maybe performance appraisals, and are we really learning how to ask powerful questions versus jumping to give advice or offer instructions? Are we really creating that a safe trust environment, and having that curiosity, seeing people for their possibilities, building on people's strengths. So the first thing that the real work that is taking a lot more effort from me is to have the leadership buy-in. But for the organizations that I'm already working with and I have their buy-in, I'm seeing beautiful things out of this. Like just yesterday, I was having breakfast with the CEO that I coach, who doesn't happen to be he's in Africa, and he happened to pass by Dubai. And we were having breakfast, and I was bringing, some coaching questions, which is again a way of being, right? And he said, Faten, after our last coaching conversation, I went and talked to my 22-year-old son, and I told him blah, 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 which is something that he figured out from the session. And I was like reflecting even this morning about it, which is like how, and he said like his son like really was emotional listening to his dad saying this. So I was like, this is the work that I'm really looking forward to see, because now he wants to bring this to the whole organization. And even in my coach training program that I have, I certify managers to become coaches. One of the first exercises is I put them in pairs, and I say, now one of you is as an employee and the other is their manager, and you come as an employee with a challenge, and I will ask the manager to only give you advice or offer you solutions. Okay? And then just after 5 minutes of them doing this work, I say, and this is the traditional leadership, the manager is not allowed to give advice or offer solutions. The manager is only allowed to ask open-ended questions. Not, did you do this, or is this right? Open-ended questions. And I say, okay, now after this 10 minutes, come back and tell me, what did you notice? Each and every time the answer is the same. With the first 5 minutes, the employee would say, my frustration, he didn't hear it. He didn't see my frustration. He just told me, do this. I'm still frustrated. Okay, now I will do it, but I'm still from inside frustrated. The second half is like, as an employee, I knew how to reach the answer myself. And how empowering is that?
Yeah.
So I'm again, I've learned that coaching is always an experience and not like a product to sell. So people have to experience it. So once leaders are experiencing it, I'm getting the buy-in. So I hope people who are listening right now get curious on, it's not a buzzword, it's a real game changer in organizations, and let them get curious on what coaching is, and why is it a game? Why is this woman saying that it's a game changer? Let them experience for themselves so that they know.
When was the first time you came across the word coaching or the experience coaching?
2018, and that's when I started my coaching journey. And it happened by chance. I was working at Carnegie Mellon University in Qatar, and one of the ladies who works for a telecom organization in Qatar is being trained to become a certified coach, and she had to finish her hours, and she said she wants to offer this to students. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to offer this new modality, because I was at the Career Services Center as an employer consultant or a career consultant. So I was like, yes, let's do that. So I did a doodle form, put the slots of students and days, times. And unfortunately, whoever works in career services or with students know that they back off last minute. So she had many slots that are empty. So I started walking around student affairs area and asking my colleagues, like, would you be interested? Like, the lady is here. Would you want to experience that? And then some did. And then I was like, why am I asking them? Just let me go, And I went there. And oh my goodness, what a big aha moment was that.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop thinking of this until I, as I said, registered and I started learning this. And then I brought it to coach students and alumni. And, and yeah, I started with beautiful stories and very reassuring that this is my path. And that's why I decided to leave, a very beautiful job.
You give a new meaning to this statement that I always say. Every rejection is God's redirection for us,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
all those students rejecting the slot was redirection for you.
Exactly. And before that, I was asking the student affairs, professionals to come and, like, this lady is here. This is her office. I gave her an office, and
Yeah,
just, she's free. And then I was like, why? Let me try it. So, yeah, one of the best things I've done.
yeah. We're coming very close towards the end of our session. Sadly, I think we should do another
So
one
fast.
someday, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. There's someone who said, "Great question. Where the answer for fear of scarcity could be
Scarcity
found?
found.
Uh,
I
what
didn't
if the
get that.
solution is beyond your circle of influence?"
Okay, we always have a choice.
Yeah,
Always have a choice. And choosing not to choose is still a choice, Nilesh. So if it's, and I always say, always look, is it in your circle of control or not in your control? If it's not in your control, you either live with it or you choose to go out.
yeah. We also had Amar who said it's always inspiring to witness such positive mindset.
That's Amr. He's one of the recent coaches who trained with us. Good
Yeah,
to have you, Amr, here.
yeah.
Yeah, he's doing amazing. He started his podcast, and again, he found his purpose through this. So it's good to have him. Yeah.
And lastly, a good friend
Oh,
who
Wasim is here. Hi, Wasim. I knew that you know him as well.
yes, yes, small world.
Amazing. Yes, yes.
Uh, before we wrap up, uh, my question is, if someone wanted to get onto the path of, uh, I know coaching is an answer, which is to start doing the work for yourself, etc. But as an organization, if they want to bring in positive psychology into their workplace, and someone listening over here on LinkedIn or somewhere wants to even consider reaching out to you and explore this, what is the first question they have to ask themselves?
Are they really willing to practice this and change the culture? Because there's a culture shift here.
Hmm.
Because if in my culture is what you reward or punish, right? That's how
Mhm.
we create cultures. If in my culture, if in that organization, for example, speaking up is something that they advocate for, and whenever that person speaks up is sidelined, or they play dead or whatever, then are we really having this? Like, are we practicing that? So the first question is, are you ready for this shift? Are you really ready to humanize leadership? Are you really ready to see people for their strengths, for their possibilities? Or you want to keep on labeling people that they cannot do this, or, there are so many talents. I don't know. I heard it recently that the the graveyard is full of beautiful ideas,
Mm,
and these beautiful ideas is because of people not sharing them,
yeah.
because of fear of speaking up. So yeah, I think that's the first question. Are you ready to
Change.
really change?
Bring about
Yeah.
change in the culture of the organization. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Faten. It's been such
Thank
an
you.
honor, such a lovely conversation, and I
Same.
look forward to continuing these conversations in some form or shape, and hopefully
Yes.
people who
And we
really
need to
want,
meet soon.
we
Remember,
will.
we have this clarity game that we need to play.
Yes, let's explore that
Yes.
as well. And
Okay.
hopefully, if someone wants to reach out, they're already on LinkedIn, they can reach out to you. And
Yes. I would
uh,
love to. Yeah. Thank you so much, Samir, for having me. It was a real pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.